What up, everybody? Cult Nerdy Core, back again with another video, and this one's going to be games I regret buying. So I remember talking about that I was going to make an E3 video, which was going to be my next video, this video, but I started to make it, and just with how meh E3 was, I knew it wasn't going to be a great video, so I decided to switch it up. That's why this one took a little longer to come out. But this is one I've been wanting to make for a little bit. This is a topic that was originally discussed, I think, by Pete Dorr. He's another YouTuber, one of the kind of OGs in the collecting scene. That was one of the big reasons why I started making YouTube videos. So I'll put a link in the description to his channel and his video about this, and definitely check him out if you haven't seen him before. So what I did is I took his general idea of games he regret buying in terms of a collecting standpoint, or just how the game played itself, and I've kind of made it into lessons that I've learned through collecting, mistakes I've made when buying games, mainly from a collecting point. A lot of these games that I'm going to be showing aren't bad, but just the way I bought them, what I purchased them for, or issues they came with is what I'll be talking about, and trying to talk about how to avoid those. So without further ado, let's just get right into the video. Alright, so the first kind of grouping of mistakes I'll be talking about are probably the most common mistake a lot of collectors make, especially for me when I was a lot younger and just kind of was getting games to play, but keeping them. So I was like kind of into collecting, but I wasn't really thinking about the collecting value later on when I was buying games, so I commonly made this mistake. So the first one in this group comes with my purchase of Dynasty Warriors. Dynasty Warriors is a great game, but the mistake I ran into, and this is one a lot of people ran into, is when I bought the game for $50, I didn't get a manual. So for those of you who don't know, which most of you probably do because most of you collectors that watch my channel, is manual adds a ton of value to a game, especially games like Dynasty Wars or other type of games that are either sought after or very hard to get. This one's just kind of an exclusive for the GameCube, so it holds a little value. This was at like an EB Games, so I could have easily asked them just to look at the manual, or I could open the game myself probably. This is one simple to avoid. Just always ask to look for the manual and expect the disc, and just look over your games before you buy them. It's very simple, but these are common ones that people make, and I just want to touch on them. Alright, so next up is Cool Border 2001. I can't tell you if this is a good game or not. The mistake I ran into while buying this game is kind of unique to only a couple games that this would fall under. The Metroid Prime double disc would also fall under this if you've had the same issue with that. So what happened with this is, if you notice, it looks complete, but if you can, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but right in here it says DVD. So what this game came with originally, if I was to get the full complete package, is a game, a DVD, manual, artwork, case. I just got the DVD. So this was at a local game store, retro game store that I go to. I very trusted. I bought a lot of games from them. So I just bought the game, thought it looked cool because I have the Cool Borders 4 on the PS1, and I really enjoyed that game. So I was picking it up. I went up to the counter, saw him put a disc in, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then bought the game, went back home, sat on my shelf for probably like a month, and then I go to play it, and I pop it in, and it's just like a little snowboarding DVD, and I was like, oh, okay, nice. So the mistake I made was not paying attention to what this game is actually supposed to come with. So this game is supposed to come with a DVD, which is like a sponsored DVD, which is the game thing I have, the game as well. So what I need to do, and what I would recommend people doing, is looking up if there's any bonuses included in these things, because this one was one that was a very uncommon mistake. This is recently, so it was past the time of me being actually aware of looking for complete editions and collecting, I don't know, kind of for a hobby. So I fell into this recently. So this is one, it's a very niche one, but I would just be aware of it. Make sure if there's a bonus disc included, you're not just getting the bonus disc and you're getting the full complete package before you buy it. Still comes down to the same thing. Just check your games and check what you're buying, even from local stores and stuff like that. Always look for what you're buying. All right, next up, we'll get up into a more advanced mistake people make, and that's not paying attention or caring or really being informed on the value of certain games, especially when they initially come out or have been out for a while and have already got that kind of scarcity or rarity to them. Paying attention to what games you're seeing at like an EB Games, a GameStop, or a local game store, what their prices kind of range for, and if you're getting a good deal, or if you should buy the protection for the game. That would be GameStop and EB Games. So the first game that falls under this for me is SSX. So this is the most recent SSX. Not a bad game, not a great game. It's just a kind of fun SSX to play through. Definitely not as good as a lot of the older ones, but still kind of fun to play. So I bought this initially when it came out. So I was really hyped for this. I've been waiting for a new SSX game for a very long time, and they finally announced it. So when it came out, I paid $82 for this game. And some of you might be saying, wow, you're nuts. Why are you paying that much for this game? And the reason why you guys are saying that is the reason I didn't think about while buying this game, is that this game dropped in value in probably the next 3 months by like a $40. This is a sports game, a game that didn't do so hot when it was selling, and I could have just waited extra 3 months, still got the game pretty early, and paid $40 less for it. This is a simple mistake of not putting the amount of money you're going to spend over like how much you want a game. I know some people will say that it's more important to get a game that you're really excited for, and I agree with that to an extent. Just when it comes to certain games, like sports games, like I'm not playing this for the online, so I don't need it initially, or any other game that really is going to hit that sharp spike down. Just wait a couple months, I would recommend. If you're looking to save money like me and you're looking to buy these games as cheap as possible, definitely don't be like me and wait a couple months, and then you can get these games for dirt cheap. A game I recently did the opposite for, and actually was correct with, was Cyberpunk. I waited to see the reviews of Cyberpunk. The reviews bombed. The game dropped in price drastically. I bought it 6 months later and it cost me $30. So that's an example of me doing it correctly. This is an example of me doing it poorly. Next one is probably the more advanced version of this, and that is when I bought Blur. So Blur, for those of you who don't know, is a cool little arcade racing game. Kind of looks like Need for Speed, but plays like a Mario Kart. Very unique game for the PS3. I have it complete. This greatest hits case is not what it came with. I swapped it out for another game because of the reason I'll tell you about in a second. So basically what happened with this one is I bought this game. This is a game that I've only seen a couple times at my local EV Games when PS3 games were actually being sold there. So I picked it up, thought it looked really cool. Got home, kind of left it on my shelf for, I'm going to say, a month or two. Finally got the idea to play it, pop a disc in, and it doesn't work. So basically I get to the menu and then the whole thing just goes boom, and basically crashes my PS3. So some of you may be asking, was I able to return it? No, because how EV Game works and all these stores work is that you have to get the protection on it, or else you can't return it after a certain time period. And I'm one who I kind of just get home, toss the receipt out, and just kind of put the game on my shelf, because I've never really had issues with games not working. This is literally the first game I've had where the disc just doesn't work. And the main issue that came out of this is Blur apparently is very hard to find. So I have never been able to see another copy of this. Even at my local game stores and stuff like that, I have never seen a copy of this. I don't know if it's just hard to get in my area or hard to get in general, but this game I haven't seen a copy to be able to get a replacement for. And the mistake I made was not getting the protection on this game. The reason I didn't get the protection is because I also didn't look up how much it was and how hard it was to get. So that's another issue I made in between. But the one I want to focus on in this is when you know a game is hard to get or on the more expensive end in terms of the collector market, and you find it in these stores that offer you these protections for it, definitely pick the protections up. I know at least me and probably a lot of other people don't normally get it because they're really good at keeping their discs clean and not damaging them. The issue is, I guess, the damage coming in and coming off of just buying it. So definitely, if it's a game like Blur or any game that you know has scarcity to it or is very expensive on the collector market, like an El Shaddai or something like that, definitely consider getting the protection because it can save you a lot of hassle in the long run. Alright, so next up is Dynasty Warriors Extreme Legends 8. I'm pretty sure that's what the title is. These Dynasty Warriors titles are always very confusing to me, which kind of stems into the issue of me buying this game. So first off, just want to say this game's great. Had a lot of fun playing it. The campaign's fun, long. It's a bunch of different campaigns like interlude into a game. It's a very long playthrough, definitely worth your money. And the kind of unlimited mode is very fun, and I play it kind of constantly when I initially got it, and have gone back to it occasionally. Now, the issue that I ran into when buying this game is me and my friend were looking to play a Dynasty Warrior game co-op, and he suggested Empires. He's a big Dynasty Warrior fan, so I was like, sure, Empire sounds cool, and it was Empires 8. So I went to the store. I was looking at the Dynasty Warriors section. It was just like a little section at my local EB Games, and I was like, oh, this is Dynasty Warriors 8. But obviously it says Extreme Legends across the title. I forgot about that. So I bought this, got home, was like, hey, do you want to play some Dynasty Warriors? And we got on, loaded the game, installed everything. We were like, alright, time to play some multiplayer Dynasty Warriors. He goes to make a lobby, and I go to try to find one, and I'm like, I can't find your lobby. And I was like, oh, wonder why. Let me check, what mode are you on? And he's like on the co-op Empire mode, whatever. And I'm like, I don't even see that mode. And he's like, what game did you get? And I was like, Extreme Legends. And he was like, yeah, you're supposed to get Empire. So I felt like a dumbass. But I basically wasted $40. Not wasted, but spent $40 on something I thought I was going to get a fun co-op experience with and play some multiplayer. And then play some single player as well, but just got the single player part. So we never ended up playing Dynasty Warriors online because I wasn't going to spend another $50. So the lesson to be learned from me being stupid is always check the title of your games. This would only really apply to certain games where the franchise kind of has a lot of games that either share numbers or similar titles, and just make sure you're getting the right one. Even write it down on your phone, like the Notes app or something like that, just to know if you're going in for a specific game, you know you're getting the right one. And this can also be said for if you're asking for gifts from people, just make sure you write down the full name for like a birthday or Christmas, like if your family gets you games and stuff like that. Just writing down the correct name and really emphasizing that is great help for making sure you get the right one. Alright, so then finally we probably get to my biggest failure as a collector, and it came after I started actually collecting. So since I was a stupid young kid and I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm getting and I'm just buying games for the heck of it. No, I knew what I was doing, and I bought this game and I feel stupid about it every time I see it. So the game is NHL 15. If you've watched my channel for a bit, you know this is on my top 10 worst PS4 games of all time. There's a very good reason for that. So I initially bought this game because I was really hooked into the ultimate teams. In some of these sports games, they have like this mode where you get cards and then they are equal to players. You can buy them on the marketplace for in-game coins, and you kind of build your own like dream team of a bunch of players you like. I really enjoy those modes. So I got this game thinking that I was going to play the Ultimate Team with my friends. It was going to be good fun. And so I got onto the Ultimate Team servers and didn't realize this game is a horrible port of the one that is on the PS3, and basically chopped all the multiplayer modes down to like bare minimum. So you can't even play with friends in the Ultimate Team on this game, I'm pretty sure. And it was just a bad experience, and I basically never touched this game after like 2 times playing it because of how bad it was. But that is not my biggest issue I made with buying this game. If you notice, there's this banner across the top that says Ultimate Edition. So in total, what I paid for this game, I paid $125 for this game. I bought the $40 upgrade to get multiplayer packs each week for, I think, the first 2 months or 2 weeks of, no, it's 2 months, 2 months of the game being out. So I got packs after packs after packs after packs, and I paid $120 for this game. And basically, my lack of looking into how bad of a port this was and what modes were available led me to spend $120 on a game that costs originally $70 to just shouldn't have paid for any of those prices, and it's just a waste of money. Definitely look at the ports, definitely look at what the game looks like, just to an extent. I'm also somebody who doesn't like looking up games to spoil myself on any like the gameplay, the story, the characters and stuff like that. I want to go in fresh, but even look up like online like written reviews just about the gameplay, how it plays, and kind of is it's worth your money is very important if you're looking to not buy crap games and waste your money, especially if you're a collector on a budget. Alright, so that wraps up my video. Definitely, if you like these videos where I kind of just talk more about stuff, either to do with collecting or certain games, and not really touch on gameplay and how a game plays, and also if you have any suggestions for topics I can cover in videos like this, definitely let me know. It helps out a lot. I'm pretty sure next should be a pickup video, but I'm going to stop making claims of I know what I'm going to put out next, because last time I didn't do it because the video wasn't going to turn out that great. So I'm just going to try to stick to the general videos I put out, and if you guys suggest some videos, I will try to get them out. And as always, thanks for watching, and remember, everybody has some nerdiness at their core.